It's here from Pop Turn. It's me, to Joshua Colley, about Descendants: The Rise of Red, premiering on Disney Plus July 12th. Welcome back to the show, man. It's so good to see you.
I'm happy to be back, Petey.
You know, it's so crazy because just the process and, you being a creative, this is so crazy to me because it's like, I remember when this was like announced, like before you were announced as Hook. Like I remember when this was announced, and now like we're talking about the fact that it's like coming out next month. Like, is it starting to kind of sink in that people are going to be able to see this movie?
Yeah, I'm honestly so ready for everyone to see it. I think it's so good, and I'm like just so excited for the Descendants franchise to be, reignited.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of want to know, like, early stages, because I feel like it's a unique kind of storytelling acting perspective for you and your cast, because you're playing these characters in a way like we've not really seen before, right? Like flashbacks and everything. So like, what's that like kind of reading the script with all of Hook and everything, kind of the, teenager Hook, so to speak, and then seeing it kind of come to life on screen specifically?
Oh my gosh. Well, I went as Captain Hook when I was 7 years old for Halloween, so I feel like I've always had him inside me. He's always been inside me, and he's just been waiting to come out. Um, and so when I got the audition, I was like, I felt like I knew exactly what to do. I've always wanted to play a British character. I knew he had to be British. I knew he had to be theatrical and suave. And I just went for it, and I gave my best interpretation of what I thought Hook was, and they liked it. And I think it translated almost exactly how I imagined the character to be on screen. Um, and it was so much fun. Like truly, this has been one of my favorite characters I've gotten to play thus far. And I'm so, so grateful to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Playing a villain is fun, right?
Oh my gosh, so much more fun than playing a hero. Where's the fun in that?
For sure. It's interesting because your answer really is perfect for this next question. I mean, so much happens before you go to camera on Descendants: The Rise of Red, right? There's rehearsals and table reads and everything. So in a lot of ways, from an acting storyteller perspective, you could see it as two journeys, right? Before filming it and after filming it, or you could see it as one big journey with multiple steps. Which is it for you? Is it one journey or is it two separate journeys?
I think it's one journey, but it was a hard journey. I'll be honest with you. The rehearsal process was quite intense. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a dancer, and there's a lot of dancing in this. But Ashley, our choreographer, was so patient, and he really, made sure we felt, good about what we were doing. And now I would consider myself a strong mover after this movie. I think it was just so much fun, and the rehearsal process was some of my favorite part. I mean, like, you rehearse for so long doing these numbers, and then you shoot it in like 2 seconds, and it's done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you really get it in your bones, and then once you're done, you're like, okay, well, now what? And that's what's so different about theater too. It's like you rehearse for so long, and then you do a run for like
Yes.
years and years and years. But no, like with movie musicals, it's kind of like you do one performance, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And then it's done. Yeah.
You had some pretty intense dance moves in senior year on Netflix, though.
I know. I don't. I'm like,
You said that just now, and I'm like, wait a second. Like, there was some Britney Spears music video thing. Like, what are you talking about?
I keep somehow attracting these dancing roles, and you know what? I just got to get with it.
Well, no, it's so interesting because at some point, like, I remember our first interview we did. We talked about, I think our first interview was that Sex Appeal on Hulu?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I find it interesting because, you wear many hats and you've done theater and you could sing and there's the dancing component. So there's going to be those like roles where you're just going to act, but then there's going to be those roles like in this one where you're doing it all, right? You're acting, you're dancing, you're singing. When did that start kind of really hitting you with your kind of career as like an actor storyteller, where you like had this opportunity to do like these, musicals or things where you could do more than one thing? Like, you're not just acting. Like, was that early on, or was that just more recent?
I feel like it's more recent that I've gotten to do it all on camera.
Okay.
I think like I've always, I started in theater, then I went to go do TV and film. And I think now it's like the perfect blend of both worlds that I've been looking for, which is so exciting. I mean, I grew up with Disney Channel original movies. I mean, High School Musical was like my life. And
Oh,
so to get to do a big Disney movie like this has always been a dream of mine.
mhm.
And so yeah, I'm so happy it's finally here and people are gonna get to see it.
Absolutely. Um, you know, getting back also to that like journey question. I mean, there's like the audition process, and then there's like the rehearsals, and then actually going to film it. Take us through that first day, like on set for this movie. Like, what is that first day when you're going to camera? Like, not even set visits or anything. Like, what's that first day of filming like for you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the energy is crazy. Like, it's so fun because like through all of the rehearsals and everything, you see like set designs and like costume designs and like you've never seen anything with the lighting all done. And
Mhm.
once all of your friends, like all of your friends that you've made are all in their characters' costumes and everybody's coming onto set. The first like big number that we did all together was Life is Sweeter, and that's kind of the one that comes to mind, and
Okay.
it's a song that we're all in. And so seeing everybody all together in the costumes in the world, it's just so immersive, and it's like it's really like an indescribable feeling, if I'm being so honest. Like, it is just so magical, and it really feels like you're in the world, you know what I mean? Like, you're really transported into the world of, Merlin Academy, which is where our, Hook it resides.
Yeah.
Um, and it was so cool. And it was like a dream come true, honestly.
I remember the day where I saw you were cast for this. I was like, oh my God, yes.
You're like, I'll see him in a few
I
months.
know, pretty much. That's literally what it was. Okay, so Descendants: The Rise of Red, brand new film, part of this kind of iconic, amazing franchise that we love, that we can't stop watching those movies. Those movies will never go away, and it's the best thing ever. July 12th on Disney Plus. You mentioned Merlin Academy and everything. We're gonna meet Hook. Hook is cool. Give us a little example of like a really cool character in your opinion that's not Hook, that we should be looking out for, that like really that like was really cool, because there's a lot, but is there one that kind of stands out that's not your character?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many good
Yeah.
characters. I think, um, I really think Brandy as Cinderella is just so magical and
Mhm.
like exactly what people are wanting to see again after, her original, time as Cinderella. I think she just brings such a warmth and like magic to the world that is just like so fitting for the fantasy world that it is. She really is just like a goddess, like truly, like she is so captivating. I'm so excited for people to see her, and I'm so excited for people to see Rita Ora as the queen too. I think people are
Yeah.
going to be so impressed with her portrayal of this character. I mean, she is so scary and so like cool in this movie. I'd say probably those two. I'm really very excited for people to see.
No, 100%. I'm wondering if this started to kind of sink in a little bit, because I always find, especially with like the DComs that are musicals, there's always this two-headed monster, right? Where people could like watch the movie over and over again, but then a separate thing is the soundtracks, like the music, right? Like they could like
Ah,
be part of the Descendants world without watching the movies, right? They just
yeah.
listen. Do you like, what do you think about that? Because I think that's one of the coolest things, right? Like you're part of like a two-headed monster with like just all the content, right? It's like the movie and then
Gosh.
also like the songs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm such a fan of the original Descendants movie and soundtrack.
Yep.
I think some of those songs are so iconic and have really like stood the test of time. Like they've really like they're still such bops. Like they really are so good. And I think the music in our movie is so fun, and I'm so excited for people to hear it. And I think, it feels very Disney. It feels very Disney, and it's big and it's like theatrical, and I think people are definitely going to be streaming
On
lots.
Disney Plus, July 12th. It's gonna be amazing. Um,
That's right.
the pace of filming, like for your stuff, for Hook stuff, because I feel like other people, like other cast members, have different experiences, different days, different things they're doing, so
Or
they
yeah.
might have different answers. What was the pace like? Did it change? Like, were there some really like long days? Were there some kind of slower days? Was it quicker? Like, I'm just curious what the overall pace for your stuff was.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was filming two projects at the same time. I was doing Dead Boy Detectives and Descendants at the
Oh my
exact same
goodness. Yes, but we're gonna get to that. I got a question about that
which
one
was
too.
so it was crazy, but it was so wonderful and I wouldn't change anything. But it was very much like I would go do Hook at, in the day and then I'd get on a plane and go straight to the next set. Like I literally wouldn't even go to the hotel. I'd go straight from set to set to film both of these characters. So it kind of felt like a big mind boggle for me, to be honest. But there were definitely some like big like chunks of time where they were filming other stuff because there's the whole like present day stuff and we're in the past.
Yes.
Um, and so there were definitely some chunks, but it just felt like I was, running from one set to the other back and forth. So it felt like one kind of continuous string for me, but it was so much fun. I would literally do it again in a heartbeat.
100%. We got to get a Dead Boy Detectives question in here. We have to.
Okay, hit
And
it.
it's been out like I mean, I just want to know like what was it like seeing the global because Netflix, right? Like worldwide, so many people watched it all around the world. What was it like seeing like the fan reactions about your character and the relationship with your character and everything specifically? I'm just curious about that.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. I mean, I love my character so much. Um, I think he's such a wonderful, cute little special character that I was so happy to get to portray. My favorite thing has honestly been the edits. Like me and my friend Avantika, who is in Mean Girls, like that's what we
And
get.
senior year.
Yes, and senior year, of course, of course,
I
of
love that
course. I
movie.
mean,
I told you this. I love that movie. The movie's so good.
me too. Like, surely it was one of my favorites. I
The
loved it.
turtles are choking. Sorry.
The turtles are choking. No, look, okay, you better remember it. Yeah. And so we send each other's edits all the time. So we're just kind of like my For You page is all her edits, and her For You page is all my edits. And so we just send each other. We're like, look how cute this one is. Look how cute this one is. It's just it's a thing that you don't even think about when you're filming it,
Mhm.
but when you're looking back later and somebody has like the saddest edit, like with the saddest song, you're like, oh my gosh, like wow, it really captures the story. But yeah, I think the response for Dead Boys has been so wonderful. And like
Right.
I'm just so happy the fans love it as much as we do.
It's cool. Both of you working in like spooky content. You did like Dead Boy Detectives. Avantika did Taro, Sony Pictures. So
Yeah.
it's like that's really cool too.
We're in our spooky
That's something
era.
I did want to ask you because Dead Boy Detectives isn't necessarily like it has like those creepy kind of horror supernatural
Yeah.
components, but like I'm just curious, and maybe you talked to Avantika about this because she worked on Taro. Like horror movies are huge right now. You know what
Yeah,
I
oh
mean?
my gosh, for sure,
So
for
like
sure.
I just want to know like what you think about that genre right now and if that's a genre you want to work in. Like I'm just curious about that specifically.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to do a horror movie. I mean, that would be so much fun. I literally like uh, sometimes this is gonna sound so bizarre, but all I've ever wanted to do in a movie is this, and I'm gonna give it to you right now. It's just a look. It's this. It's going into an unfamiliar space. That's all I want to do. And I feel like every horror movie has a moment like that where they're like, just going in somewhere scary. That's a dream, a random dream bucket list that I will want to do at one time. Or where you're like running towards the camera and you're like, and it's like, that's also a dream. But I personally am so scared of horror movies. Like I went to the Tarot premiere with Avantika and I was literally like clutching. I was like, you need to warn me every time there's a
Yeah,
jump
because those
scare.
jumps that movie has a
So
lot of jump scares too.
lots of jump scares. So I was there to support her, but I definitely was like so scared. But I feel like once when you're in a horror movie, it
Yeah.
must be so different. You're like watching it, like I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and
Um,
maybe like if you
yeah.
work on one, you'll be able to kind of like force yourself to like watch them.
No, exactly. I'll be looking at other people's reactions. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get scared right
But they're
here.
huge right now. It's like
It's so
spooky
fun.
season all year long now. It's crazy.
Hey, many casting directors are watching this. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, in the meantime, Descendants: The Rise of Red, July 12th on Disney Plus. That's so amazing. I'm so happy for you. And Dead Boy Detectives is streaming now worldwide on Netflix too. They can also check that out. Josh, was so great catching up with you. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
So good to see you, King. You're the best ever. I'm always so excited when I get to talk to you. You're the best.
I really appreciate that. It's just your Instagram account for people to keep update with everything.
Yes, Joshua Robert Colley on Instagram. Check it out.
Awesome. Well, this has been Pop Turn. If you do.com/Pop Turn for previous episodes. Till next time, it's Joshua Colley and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.